oh, what the fuck? Why does he have a boner in his tail? That's so disgusting. Why is his eye rolling across the ground? That's disgusting.
So the life lesson here, guys, is just don't get into animation.
That's fair.
Welcome back to Who Made It? Today we're gonna be talking about who made So-rawr-ity Girls. This is Jenna Mayer. Thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you so much.
You were the creator behind this project. You did everything.
That's correct.
Explain the project So-rawr-ity Girls.
So-rawr-ity Girls is a 2D animated sex comedy about a nerdy little dinosaur going to a sorority house to pick up chicks. Only then does he realize the girls want a piece of him as well. He dies.
What was the film that you watched that made you want to make this?
Early 2000s comedy, stuff like Superbad. You can definitely see that influence when you watch it.
I could see Superbad in this film, yeah.
Clone High was a really big inspiration style-wise. Weirdly, this is a show I watched when I was a kid. It was Wayside. It was on Teletoon Network.
Wayside?
Wayside.
Oh my god.
Like where the...
That's a crazy deep cut.
Yeah, I'm very inspired by Canadian animation.
Which part of Wayside was the inspiration? The animation or the story?
Definitely the style of the show was a really big inspiration, how flat the characters are and how they move very quickly and a bit like awkwardly. I really like that. The story, Canadian comedy, and especially Canadian comedy in animation, I found is always a little over the top. What they really liked to do was a lot of parody. Johnny Test was Johnny Quest. Total Drama was many different reality TV shows. And I really like that kind of comedy and I wanted to put it into my own project.
Any challenges you had while creating this project?
Something I always struggled with was animating 2D animation. My biggest struggle on the planet. It's a very tedious process and it's a lot of theory. It's a lot of knowing how to get your timing right, knowing what's supposed to go where, when you're supposed to move a body part, leading with your head, leading with your eyes, making sure your eyes are looking in the right place. It is a lot of different factors that you have to keep into account.
So the life lesson here, guys, is just don't get into animation.
That's fair. So when I was animating and I had to start thinking about the Herculean task in front of me, I looked at my designs and I decided I'm gonna make these designs as flat, as thick lined, and as rigid as humanly possible to almost make them look like they are 2D rigs, basically animation puppets, so you don't have to animate a lot. And that's gonna be perfect because that's what I need and that's what it needs to be good. Simplest is usually the best if you're doing stuff like this. But if you're a super good animator, go ahead, do something crazy, especially if the style calls for it, because your style is always gonna call for different things.
For sure. It has to make sense to you. If you don't understand your own project, then how are you gonna make your own project? The way how you animate it is very important to that. Any highlights you had? Any good moments that stood out to you when making this movie?
My favorite thing would be going into my weekly meeting with my mentor, showing the group my process and be like, oh, what the fuck? Why does he have a boner in his tail? That's so disgusting. Why is his eye rolling across the ground? That's disgusting. That's the part I fiend for the most in storytelling. I like one point of the story where the entire audience will be like, and get really grossed out or really freaked out. And I love sitting in the back of the theater and being like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted.
You know, I remember when we first watched it and Luca was like, dude, I was so grossed out by that.
That makes me really happy and that's exactly what I wanted to hear.
So let's say somebody watches So-rawr-ity Girls and they're like, I really enjoyed that. I want to make something like that. What advice would you give them?
You have to be very concise. You have to know what you want. You have to know what you're doing from the very first stage of production. You should know everything about your characters. You shouldn't be changing things in your story because you can't. The more you stray, the less focused your story is going to become. Make your story as focused as humanly possible. Show it to as many people as possible, especially in your storyboard phase, especially in scripting if you're doing scripts. Get as many eyes on it. People who wouldn't like it, there's still something valuable in that. And as long as you can make yourself be interested in the project and yourself laugh, you have achieved your goal.
Be confident in what you're making.
Yes.
What do you want this movie to tell the world? What's the message behind this?
The message is to not bug girls at parties or something horrible will happen. Respect women.
Where can the audience find more of your work?
My social media is Jenna's. Jenna/mayonnaise. It is both of those words together and there's an I. You'll find me.
And
I'll find you. My films, as soon as they finish their festival circuit, they will be up on my Instagram and my YouTube of the same username.
All right, Jenna, thank you for coming out.
Thank you.